Apartments are usually something you play with in The Sims when you're like starting out, or you've just moved like a teenage sim out of their home when they're turned into a young adult and you don't want to move into a full house yet, so you choose an apartment. And I love the apartments in the eco living world. If you don't have if you don't have eco living, they're kind of more like, they're not the same apartments as city living. I will show you in like 2 seconds if you haven't already seen them we get to the build. But I like them better. They're more like authentic. Not authentic. They just fit the vibe better, and I like the apartments better. So I thought I could give myself a little challenge. I don't know if calling it a challenge is the right word, but basically I'm gonna use the same apartment shell, so the same like little box, and make this like an apartment building room thing for like 1 sim, 2 sim, 3 sim, 4 sim, 5 sim, 6 sim, 7 sim. I'm feeling like Dr. Seuss. 8 sim. I feel like, so like to challenge myself to see if it works, I will try and explain it when I'm doing this bit better, but like basically just the same apartment with different amounts of sims. That's my challenge. Let's get into it. Okay, so basically this is like the apartment shell. Basically it's a rectangle. It's not like the city living apartments where it's got like some special shape. It's just a rectangle. And so what I meant when I was talking about is, yeah, I'm gonna make this kind of rectangle into a house for 1 sim. This is the 1 sim episode. Then I've got a 2 sim episode already. Then 3 sims, 4 sims, 5 sims, 6 sims, 7 sims, and 8 sims, which is the household limit. Unless you have a mod, then you can go past that, but this is the household limit for like just the vanilla game. And I just thought it'd be fun to kind of challenge myself, and also because sometimes you like to have different kind of living situations for different, like, I don't know, let's plays, just any kind of storyline you're building. So sometimes you're gonna have 8 sims in a smallish apartment. And in my last video, I don't want to say that because I don't know what order I'm uploading them. In the video I just filmed, I explained how I didn't like how a lot of the apartments in city living are massive and they can fit 8 sims. So I thought this was kind of just a juxtaposition to that, just showing how I can do it with a smaller apartment to have an apartment to fit 8 sims. So yeah, and one of my favorite packs is actually Eco Living. I love it so much. It's a great pack. I just like, I don't know, I feel like it was one of the really good packs earlier on. I know it's not old by any means, but I just feel like it was one of the packs that really sparked the like start of the new packs in my mind. Okay, I've been playing Sims since it first came out. When it first came out, I was like 10. And I didn't have a computer. I didn't play The Sims. I don't think I knew what The Sims was. I did learn like probably a year later. And then I've wanted to play The Sims ever since then. So, you know, I've wanted to play The Sims for long, but I've been playing since 2020. So what era was 2020? I'm trying to think what came out in 2020 for The Sims, but I honestly don't know. At the time that I downloaded it though, there weren't that many expansion packs. Compared to now, I feel like there's a lot more expansion packs than there was, but I could be completely wrong. So anyway, I feel like when Eco Living came out, it was the spark of the better pack generation is what I'm going to call it. And in my mind, the packs are separated to 2 packs, the newer ones and the older ones. And the older ones, they have some good stuff. They're kind of okay. But my massive issue with them is usually the fashion that's in them. You can tell it's from an era of like 2014 and before. I would say most of the fashion ranges from like 2004 to 2012, before the new pack generation. And then the new pack generation came in and the fashion was like updated to what it is kind of now, and we're getting more like popular fashion that you'd see out now, if you know what I mean. Anyway, and I feel like it's kind of the same with furniture, but not exactly, but you can kind of see the influence of it leak into the furniture and the gameplay in some aspects. But that's kind of my thing. I'm actually going to pause this and tell you what packs I think are in which, so it seems less confusing. Okay, so I have the expansion packs up on my phone, and I think the old generation happened from Island Living to before. I think so. Island Living, Get Famous Seasons, Cats and Dogs, City Living, Get Together, and Get to Work. That was the older generation, when the people working for The Sims were likely like knew what was going on in a little bit of a time period before, and then not lost touch, but I think Discover University is when they caught up with the fashion, at least from what I saw. And also a lot of the items in Discover University are the ones that I really like to use, and I'm like, this still is relevant today. And then Eco Lifestyle came next, and then Snowy Escape, Cottage Living, High School Years, and Growing Together. And I feel like the new generation is more in touch with the time period that it was released. Obviously, I was young when the old generation were released, and I wasn't playing The Sims. I think I started playing when Discover University first came out. So, or like it came out when I first started playing, I don't know, around that time period. So maybe this is just in my mind the correlation that is being made, and it has nothing to do with anything, but that's kind of where I sit. Now, I'm not saying there are bad things I'm not saying there aren't good things about the old pack. I'm not saying there aren't bad things about the new packs, but I think there's a clear, at least again in my mind, there's a clear split between the packs. I think though Island Living and Discover University are kind of grouped together, where they were kind of getting a grasp on it, but there were still kind of some things that were a bit out of touch with like what was popular at the time. I don't know. And I also feel like the furniture got really good in the newer packs, whereas in the older packs I'm not a massive fan of the furniture, apart from Island Living. I will say Island Living, it's kind of one of the bridging packs. It was one where there was a lot of good stuff, but then there was some stuff which was kind of like not the vibe, if you know what I mean. I hope that makes sense to everyone, and I'm not just spewing random nonsense. But yeah, whenever I look at kind of the fashion from City Living or Get Together, I'm like, yeah. But I feel like the reason for that could potentially be, obviously the game came out in 2014, but I'm gathering they were planning DLC before that. And obviously you have to plan DLC a while before it comes out. Obviously, I'm not sure how long. I'm not a game developer in any way. I have no knowledge on this apart from like what I see from The Sims and kind of my own, like that would take a while kind of sense. So I feel like the reason is because they start developing DLC, and obviously at the time that they start developing it and coming up with concept arts and things like that, they're like, this is what's popular right now. But then when it actually gets released, it's not what's popular anymore. And obviously fashion trends work quicker now than they did. I don't want to say when the game came out, because I think it was still the same like then, but I think fast fashion has definitely accelerated the rate that we go through trends. And I think that's also the issue with DLC, because if we keep going through trends faster and faster, they're not going to be able to keep up when they're creating DLC. But that's just my opinion on it all. Maybe I'm completely wrong and everyone's like, what are you talking about? You were a child, just like stop talking. And you know what? That's a valid point. But yeah. Anyway, I hope you guys like this build. I mean, it's nearly done. Also, I want to acknowledge the fact that the grid is on in this. I built this before someone told me to turn the grid off, and I just want to acknowledge this in every video because I feel so stupid for never thinking to turn the grid off, and then someone told me to, and I was like, that is such a smart idea. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this vid anyway, and this build. I like it very much. I like the eco-living apartments. I like the vibes I got in this build. And next time on this little, it's kind of like a mini series. It'll be 2 people and then 3 people and then 4 people, and I think you get the idea by now. But I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a lovely day, night, afternoon, evening, whatever it is, whatever you are, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!